Hi, I'm Lara Bullock. I'm the curator of Fear No Art, Civic Engagement, Histories, Currencies, and today I'm here with Celeste Byers to interview her about her work. So Celeste was born and raised in San Diego. She went to High Tech High and Art Center for college and currently lives and works in San Diego, but her work can be seen across the globe. She most recently specializes in murals. So Celeste.
What's up?
When I first met you, it was probably about, 8 years ago or something, through Ship in the Woods, and you were selling prints, and I bought one of your prints, and it's hanging in my bedroom.
What?
Yes.
Cool.
So my question, the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about was just sort of how you made that transition from making smaller works to larger scale murals on the street.
Okay. Well, I studied illustration for 4 years at Art Center, and so I was like making small illustrations. And then when I was in school, my dad, he's a small airplane pilot, and he asked me to paint a mural on his airplane hangar, which is huge. It was like, I don't know, maybe like 50 by 20 feet high, and so I did that. And then
what did you paint?
What did I paint? I painted this big scene of whales because my dad likes to fly offshore and look for whales.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so from there, I went to my doctor to get a prescription, and for some reason, I showed him my artwork, and he was opening like 5 different dispensaries, and he hired me to paint all his dispensaries that he was opening over the next few years.
Wow. Did you show him your work?
Yeah, I showed him my work for some reason. Okay. Yeah, I remember being in his office and like showing him my work on the computer. And then I went to Sri Lanka in 2013 because I got a job teaching at a design college there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I met Aaron Glasson, and we just started painting murals like on the street in Sri Lanka. And then I decided I didn't want to be a teacher, and I was like, I just want to travel around the world and paint. And so that's what I did for the past 10 years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So the audience then, like painting on the street, is very different. I bet you, like, people come up to you all the time when you're painting and ask all these questions. So, like, how do you see kind of your work's relationship to the viewer? Or what do you hope viewers take away from your work?
I guess it depends on the mural that I'm painting. I really like being around people, and so I feel like being like a studio artist or like being an illustrator, it's like kind of hard for me because it's like a very isolated existence.
Right.
And so like I love painting like on different sites because then it's like, oh, I get to meet and become a part of all these different communities, like no matter where I go, and then I get to travel all over and paint.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you have like a favorite mural that is currently extant or existing here in San Diego?
In San Diego, I painted a really beautiful native plant mural in Sereno Valley like a couple months ago that I really like, that I want more people to know about because it's like in this hidden hallway just in the science district of Sereno Valley. So I don't think that many people will see it naturally.
But it's open to the public?
Yeah, it's open to the public.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I have another mural. If San Diego viewers are watching this,
yes.
Yeah, there's a mural, like both of them are on Roselle Street in Sereno Valley, and they're less than a mile from each other, and one of them is next to City Tacos. Like you have to go into that building, and then there's another huge other native plant mural in that building.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so those, I think that's some of my best recent work. Okay. Over there. Yeah.
That's a good segue because to talking about this piece that's in the show, Dear Survivor. But at first, before we get into, because I noticed there's like flora and fauna represented in this painting and then in a lot of your other work. But maybe before we get into that, just kind of talking about kind of the history. I know this piece was created in response to the Survivor Love Letter project, yes. Started by Tani Ikeda in 2012, but you painted this in 2019. And so I'm just wondering how you became involved with it.
Yeah, so Survivor Love Letter, they hired me to go to Las Vegas and go to UNLV, the University of Las Vegas, and paint a mural. And then I did 3 smaller illustrations for their Sexual Assault Survivor Awareness Month last year. And yeah, so it was like she took all these different powerful women who have written letters to their younger selves about being sexually assaulted. So my portion of the project at UNLV in Las Vegas was to paint the mural, but then there was also like a dance portion where students that had survived sexual assault, like it was some physical thing that I wasn't a part of. Yeah, but then there was like a workshop that was a writing workshop for people who had survived sexual assault, and I attended that, and I had known that this was like a very important topic before, like that's why I got involved in the project. But then like when I actually went to this workshop and heard different people's stories of assault and like how much this group meant to them, and like having everyone share that energy in that room, and like people were crying, and it was just like it was so powerful. And this mural was just up on stage, and all of us were just like there, like all like hugging on stage. It was really beautiful.
So who is represented in this portrait?
Yeah, so this is Ashley Ford, and she's a writer. I think she lives in New York City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was she there?
No, she wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So so we have this portrait, and the story is really poignant, and it's done in such a cheerful kind of color palette. I feel like, you know, it kind of goes with the whole message. It really, like, even though it's something like really dark that happened, we're kind of like, they're reclaiming it and making it into like a positive experience.
Yeah.
And so you kind of get that feeling of kind of hopefulness, like especially like in this section, kind of this upward movement. But yeah, we encounter these birds, which I know are starlings, and then some flowers in the background.
Yeah,
and
it's starlings because she wanted me to have starlings because they all come together. Like starlings always like fly around as a group.
Okay.
And actually, like after I painted this, I've noticed like starlings just sitting on the telephone lines near my house, and yeah, they're always just together. So it's kind of just about how like if this has happened to you. It's happened to me, but yeah, it's like we're all in this together. I feel like as women, it's probably happened to everybody.
I think so.
Unfortunately, but yeah, it's just so they're all flying like into her hair, and she kind of has like the glow of the color of them, because it's like every woman embodies all the women, and yeah, so we're all in it together.
So why do you feel that it is important to speak about kind of social issues or environmental issues, or just, you know, issues that affect all of us in your work, and have it displayed publicly?
Well, I think it's like all these issues affect all of us, like making art about politics or social or environmental or any issue at all. I feel like as an artist, I can use the skills that I have to spread awareness or like just spread positivity. Like I guess you asked earlier, like what do I hope my work does? And I just want it to be like usually like an uplifting thing that people encounter. You know, like I never want to make art that's going to bring people down. Like I always want it to lift you up. Yeah.
So maybe one last question. What is maybe the most kind of touching or memorable experience you've had creating artwork, other than this?
Oh my gosh. Well, there's so many.
That you could share.
Yeah, there's so Let's see. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is Aaron Glasson and he's a really amazing painter. We collaborated on this mural in Cancun, Mexico. It's like a 4-story high mural of this Mayan woman, and 4 generations of her family had lived in this apartment building that we were painting the mural on, and we painted her in her native Ipil dress, and like she's Mayan and like spoke Mayan, and Spanish was her second language, so it was like hard to communicate because I speak a little Spanish, but we're both speaking broken Spanish. But it's like we got to know her family, and like her daughter made us lunch every day, and like her granddaughter was playing around, and it's like we were just like in this community. Yeah. And that just felt very powerful to represent an underrepresented culture, really huge, like in a 4-story mural.
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel like that is why I'm so like interested in street art in general. Like its ability to create community and just like specifically speak to the community in which it's cited. Yeah.
Well, I think street art is really important because it's like how many people are going to come into the museum?
Right.
You know, like you have to be probably like a different class, and I feel like street art is available to everyone. Yeah, and it's so cool to, like in here, the show is awesome. Get to experience all these little things, but it's cool if like you're just out on the street and you find something beautiful and important and that says something. Yeah.
And it becomes yours. If it's in your neighborhood, it's like your artwork. So I think it's really cool. I love your work, and I'm so happy you could be a part of this show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
So Celeste, do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on that you would like to share? And then also tell people how to find you on social media.
Okay. I've been working on this mural at Skydeck in Del Mar. It's right above Jimbo's. And I've been working on this project on and off since February, and they're opening it next February. And there's going to be like 10 restaurants in there, like 3 tasting rooms, a bar, a cafe. It's going to be really cool. It's the longest I've ever spent on a mural.
How long?
Well, on and off since February, and it's like I'm gonna, after this interview, I'm gonna go paint it also. Like they keep just asking like, oh, can you now add this or this? I'm just like, okay, sure.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I don't know when this video is coming out, but this holiday season, in the weeks of December 5th and 6th, and then 12th and 13th, I'm releasing a print with Sephora, and you can come there, and if you buy stuff, then I'll sign the print for you, and that'll be cool. And then next week I'm going to Pennsylvania to paint a mural with Erin.
Awesome, how fun.
Yeah.
And then what is your social media handle?
Oh yeah, my social media. You can find me at Celestial Terrestrial on Instagram, or my website is celestebyers.com.
Thanks so much. Well, Celeste, I asked you to pick a work that you were drawn to in the show from the Civic Art Collection, and so we're in front of these 3 objects. So would you like to say a little bit about why you were drawn to
so I just thought these were interesting because I just liked the portrait, first of all. I'm half Chinese, and I like that there's a Chinese man in here, but what I found this extra interesting and why I picked it is because there was like this older Caucasian couple that went around documenting different people of different cultures.
The Kumeyaay, and then this Chinese boy named Jung Ho.
Was it in America?
In America. Well, they would travel around the world, and
yeah, so it's like, was he a young Chinese man in America that had immigrated here?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so I wonder who he was. But yeah, so what is also interesting is she said that the young boy also drew this portrait. We don't know who this is. And I'm kind of like, I don't think that this guy did that, but who knows? It all seems so like, because you have to be a really good artist to draw that.
Yeah, so maybe he was a little older when he drew this. We don't
but
really
then
know
wouldn't
the
there be
mystery.
more work of his around, you know?
Yeah.
It just seems like, what is this story? Like, like in museums even, you know, maybe there's lies.
There's like no information really about this drawing at all. And we have this book, which is about the artist who drew this.
Oh, about this boy?
About the boy.
Oh, it is about the boy. Oh,
Written
by the woman.
The wife of the man who painted this portrait. And she changed his name to Chang Chi, which is a little suspicious. And yeah, so there's kind of like this uncomfortable kind of narrative or some relationship at play here.
Yeah, but it is kind of interesting, I don't know, I guess just the representation of the Chinese, American, immigrant, and white experience.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's very cool.